What's going on YouTube? It's fineokay, and today I'm bringing you guys my predictions video for Worlds. I decided to do this because I feel like it would, produce a lot of hype, and it's fun and stuff. Even though it may show a little bit of my bias, I'm gonna try and be as objective as possible. And usually I don't like to do it, but people have been asking, and we haven't seen the SPL teams play for a month and a half, so it's kind of hard to get a lot of information about these teams. But based on the players and based on how they played at Super Regionals and stuff like that, I'm going to try and make some predictions. So yeah, let's get right into it. I have all three tabs open for each bracket. I'm even going to do Xbox console side of things because I do like the console side of Smite. It's pretty enjoyable, and I have a lot of friends that are playing over there. So yeah, let's just get right into it. I'm going to start with the placement matches. So keep in mind that these are a best of one, so anything could happen. If a team has this very, very specific, maybe even a cheese strat to, unleash against maybe a better team, like Nocturnes, maybe they release some cheese strat, they could possibly take over energy because this is a best of one. But if you lose here, it doesn't mean you're out, so keep that in mind. But we're going to go right into it. So, first up, we have LG versus Silly Esports. Silly Esports is the Australian team coming to Worlds this year. LG is, the NA fan favorites, of course, with Barra and Jeff. This should go to LG. This is the best one, so they should take this over them 1-0. But like I was talking about before, you never really want to underestimate Australian teams. So LG's got to do their homework and make sure that they come and make no mistakes here in this first game. So we'll go LG here. And by the way, guys, not really any way for me to edit it to actually. I wish there was some way like we could move, like if LG wins, I can move them over here and then put them right here. The only way I could do that is if I edit it, but I'm just going to be talking about it, so sorry about that. It would be much cleaner if I could, actually move them and show them places. I was trying to look for one where I could do that, but I couldn't. So anyway, LG wins this game, so that means Silly Esports is going to go to the match 5 knockout rounds. And then down here, it's going to be NRG versus Nocturnes. Nocturnes is I believe, the Latin American team. We saw him last year with, I think his name was Nas, the Raw player, who was just owning. I think he played Thoth as well. So a decent team. However, they're going against the two-time world champs. Energy should easily take this. So Energy will move on. Nocturnes goes to the match 5 knockout round. So it'll be Nocturnes versus Scylla in that knockout round, and we'll talk about that in a bit. So then up next, we have Obey versus Entity. Entity is I think the Southeast Asian team, or maybe the Asian team, coming to Worlds this year. So all these international teams do have a lot of work cut out for them to try and beat these European and NA juggernauts. So just like these two, nothing really out of the ordinary here. I'm going with Obey. Obey should win this 1-0. But keep in mind, since we haven't seen any of these teams for a while, if they come in with some crazy strat and knock off a top team in a best of one, it's not going to be a complete surprise just because it is a best of one. So, but we're going to give it to Obey here for this match 3. So Obey is going to move on to the quarterfinals, and then, Entity is going to go to the match 6 knockout rounds. Sorry, itching my nose a lot. I have a cold. Anyway, match 4 is going to be between Elevate and Black Dragons. So I think it's going to be the closest match of all 4 of these. I think Black Dragons is actually pretty good. They're the Brazilian team. They have Kliz on their team, who's a good friend of mine. So showing a little bit of bias here, but I do think this is going to be one of the closest ones, and I would not be surprised if Black Dragons takes this. But I do think Elevate will come out on top. So that means all 4 of these top teams should come out on top in these best of ones, and that means Black Dragons are going to go to the match 6 knockout round. So that means that LG is going to be playing NRG in this quarterfinal match. That means that Obey is going to be playing Elevate in this quarterfinal match down here, these are all best of 3s, which kind of sucks in my opinion. I think a lot of these matches are super important. I think they should be best of 5s, but what can you do? And then that means we need to talk about the knockout rounds. So Scylla is going to be playing Nocturnes here. This should be a really good match here. It's going to be best of 3. I do think Scylla is going to pull it out on top. I think the Australian team is pretty good, but again, wouldn't be surprised if Nocturnes came out on top as well, because we haven't been able to see much of their play lately. So next up is going to be Entity versus Black Dragons down here in this knockout round. Black Dragons should take this. Like I said, I think they're a pretty good team, very close to NA and Europe as far as skill level and stuff like that. So Black Dragons should take this. So that means that Entity and Nocturnes are going to be your first 2 teams that are completely out of the contention for the championship. So, moving on to quarterfinals. So that means that Rival will be playing the match 6 winner, which is down here. Rival will be playing Black Dragons. So Rival versus Black Dragons. Even though I said Black Dragons is a pretty good team, and I think that they do have a decent shot, I think that Rival will take this, and I'll talk about that more later because I think Rival is really good. And this quarterfinal match is the much-awaited one, and kind of sad because NRG is going to be playing Luminosity in the quarterfinal match. So this is the best of 3. NRG, LG, you know, arguably 2 of the best teams for the past 3 years have to play each other in the quarterfinal match, which is the best of 3. That sucks. I don't like how they made these brackets. It does mean that we'll get to see some quite exciting matches early on. You know, usually you just want to watch like the semifinals. That's where it's going to be really good. But I think that the competition has gotten so much better and stuff like that that I wish that, you know, LG and NRG would have been playing each other later, or not at all. But it's pretty cool that we're going to get to see them at least in the quarterfinals. It's going to be a best of 3, so it's going to be kind of tough. Yeah, but I got to pick a winner. I do think that NRG is going to come out on top. It's going to be super close, but like the past 2 years, I do think NRG will win. I don't know how LG has been playing in scrims, like I said, so who knows if they have gotten a lot better and are going to, you know, own. But I do have NRG coming out on top, so that means Rival and NRG are going to be playing in the semifinals of match 11. Then down here we have United versus the winner of this match right here, which should be Scylla Esports, or at least that's what I said. So it's going to be United versus Scylla Esports. I do think United will come out on top. I think they're probably a much better team, so United's going to win that, and that'll put them in the semifinals. And then the quarterfinals down here, match 10, is going to be between Obey and Elevate, like I talked about. That should be a really good set. Looking forward to watching that, as well as this one up here, and this Team Rival one. The United one, I don't know if will be as good to watch, but Obey versus Elevate should be pretty good. I do have Obey coming out on top, probably 2-1. They're just a really good team. A lot of good players and names on that team, so I think they'll come out on top. So then it'll be Obey versus United in this bottom bracket of the semifinals, and then Rival versus NRG in this top bracket. So 3 European teams, no surprise, and one NA team, which is a United. So with that said, we're going to have Rival versus NRG. I do think it is a best of 5, so this is our first, you know, set of best of 5s. I do think that Rival is going to come out on top, probably 3-2, possibly even 3-1. I think Rival is insane. I think Deathwalker is the best solo in the world. Their synergy is crazy. Wolfie's a really, really good mid. Vote is probably one of the best ADCs in the world as well. He doesn't get the credit he deserves, honestly, probably because he's such a cunt all the time. No, I'm just kidding. So anyway, I'm just messing around, by the way. So I have Rival coming out on top up here. Should be able to beat NRG. And down here is going to be United versus Obey. I think this is going to be a really good set, like this top one. But I have United coming out on top. I think United's really, really good. I think Benji's probably the second best solo laner in the world. He's so good, so consistent, and that team actually has a lot of good synergy as well. And I think Panicat's one of the best ADCs in the world as well. They, you know, anybody on that team can really carry. So I'm gonna have United coming out on top, 3-2, or 3/2 versus Obey. So that means in our finals we will be having a Rival versus United matchup. This should be a really, really good set. It's the best NA versus the best of EU, or at least right now. But I do think I'll have Rival coming out on top in that. Maybe a 3-2, maybe 3-1. I just think Rival's really, really, really good right now. They've showed that they're the Lanimals at this point, some of the best in the world. So I do have Rival coming out on top in the end. So Rival will be your World's Championship, or champions in my mind. So that's my opinion. Let me know what you think about it in the comments for the PC side of things. Should be a really, really fun Worlds. I'm going to be there, so if you guys are there, come say hi to me, and maybe we can hang out or talk and, you know, watch some games together. Should be really fun. This will be my first Worlds, so, or at least, you know, the first one I'm attending. And then on the console side of things, I think this might be a little bit more straightforward. I do have Strictly Business over Myth Gaming. SB is really good. They have Kaden, Nickwood, and a couple other people that I've known for a while. So I do have Strictly Business coming on top. That might be a little bit biased, but they have been really good, and they've only dropped a couple of games during the season. And then Astral versus Obey. This should be a really good matchup. Obey are your previous console Worlds winners, and then you have Astral, who has won, I think, every LAN recently. So yeah, I'm going to have Astral coming out on top here. These are both best of 3s, which kind of sucks. I mean, maybe they just don't have the time for it because it's console side. But, like, I mean, this is the semifinals, and these are super important games. You would want it to be a best of 5, but unfortunately it's best of 3. So I have Astral coming out on bottom, Strictly Business coming out on top. So that means it's going to be Strictly Business versus Astral Authority in the finals, and then I'm going to have Strictly Business coming out on top, even though it's best of 5. They'll probably win about 3-2, maybe 3-1, probably 3-2. I have a lot of friends on Astral Authority as well, but I think that Strictly Business is playing really well. As long as Caden shows up, they're going to do really well, and I think they'll end up taking the console side of things at Worlds. So your 2 Worlds winners are going to be Team Rival and Strictly Business, PC and console respectively. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. Let me know what you think in the comments. We can discuss it. We can talk about stuff. This is kind of opinion based. Try to be a little bit objective about it, but it's more just for the fun of it and to talk about stuff and show you what's going to be happening at Worlds. So thank you so much for watching. Smash that motherfucking like button if you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys next time.